The Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast is back, and once again, it is brought to you by All Pro Cleaning and Restoration, a Balfour company, commercial, residential property restoration and construction company. Services include fire and water damage restoration, mold remediation, HVAC, duct cleaning, and complete construction services. Been a valued service provider for Westchester County and the Tri-State area for over 35 years and a proud supporter of Stepinac basketball, as is White Plains Hospital, a sponsor of GameDay One, and has been so good to high school athletics, Stepinac basketball, and GameDay One since we started. And now, the Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast with Coach Patrick Massaroni. Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast, episode 13. I called episode 13 last week. Actually, this is episode 13. It's a good sign, Coach Patrick Massaroni, that we've lost track of how many shows we've done because we've done that many. Yep. We've made it this far, but we want to thank All Pro Cleaning and Restoration, White Plains Hospital, for sponsoring our podcast every week. And, of course, LMC Media Studios, where we are. Once again, Coach Pat, are you tired? You tired from this season? How do you feel right now?
No, I for some reason, before we started, I've been yawning a lot, but It's Friday, which we normally don't record on Friday. No. It's Friday. It's I'm always big, gotta have positivity on Friday. All days, but more so Friday going into the weekend.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not tired. I said to somebody last night, I said this group, as much as when you have really good players and you got really talented kids, require a lot. They've been a pleasure, especially the last 2 months have been. Mm-hmm. It's been a pleasure to be around them, and I don't think anybody wants it to end from our end. So
it is a long season.
It's a grind. It's a grind. What we do is a grind. The way our program, the level our program's at, how it people just think it's November to March, and that's kind of not what it is. But we start the first Saturday officially in November, and then we hopefully play to the end of March every year. And there's success across the board. Freshman team is in the city championship. They're 22-1. Mm-hmm. They play tomorrow night. Our varsity B team won the whole thing. Our JV finished 14-10. They lost in the city quarters to the number 1 seed by 5. So this is a grind for everybody. And nobody feels sorry for anybody at this point. And I tell our guys that. The opportunity that we still get to practice, and there's only 8 teams still doing it in the Catholic League is pretty awesome.
Yep. So Sunday at Fordham University, the best day of maybe the basketball season.
Yeah. If you're a basketball fan, junkie, media member, college coach, scout, digital content,
parent looking for something to do with your kids.
It is for $15. It is a person you get. You could stay for all 4 games, at Rose Hill. Great, not really a bad seat down there.
Yeah.
It's a great day of basketball.
Yeah, I always talk about Sunday at Fordham, and it's not, when I talk about Sunday at Fordham, I don't think about the championship. I think about it's a quadruple header, the AA quarterfinals. You sit there all day, you can hang out, go to Arthur Avenue, do the whole thing. Do you remember going before you were a head coach and thinking wow, this, because obviously back then, you probably had your St. Ray's, your Rice, your Christ the King, those teams dominating the league. Do you remember those early memories of?
Yeah, I remember going, and then I also vividly remember when Stepinac had made the AA. This was before I was a coach. When they made the AA semis, that was that midweek game. Mm-hmm. Timmy Phillip and his staff, they had lost to Loughlin. That Loughlin team was loaded. I think kid went to Villanova, went to Rutgers, and that kind of that was where they were at, and the program had gotten progressed so well in those years. I remember going with my dad on that midweek game, and then had previously gone. So you remember. It's a great energy in the gym. Usually there's pretty good games.
Yeah.
And it's a really quaint, tight feel. And there's something different about it. Fordham Catholic School, the Catholic League, the Bronx, as you mentioned, Arthur Avenue.
I remember that year. So I think that was the year.
It was Josh James.
Yeah, Josh James' year. And then it was kind of the next year, or maybe the year, it was Ty Jerome. Iona went.
Yeah.
Semis lost to Zavarian.
Yeah.
And they had.
And Zavarian won the whole thing.
Yeah. And they had Matt Ryan, Ty Jerome, and Tom Capuano. And I used to think to myself, you're going there because you're going on Sunday and you're going to watch, because you might see future NBA players.
Yeah.
And you're like, Iona Prep is there, and that's great. And then you didn't realize that 2 future NBA players were on Iona Prep back then. And it was it's been pretty awesome.
The league does the program, right? And it's pretty extensive for starting. It starts tonight with the A and the B games, which are tonight the championship. But the program is like there's such history.
Yeah.
There's marketing and there's sponsorships and there's ads. And then there's like you get to the college page or the NBA page. There's like you sit there like, wow, and people got to see him, in this.
One of the first years I went was Shagari Lane for Rice, and he was like 7'3", whatever he was.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he was 8'10". I mean, how big he was, and just dunking and dunking and dunking.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That was my early memories of doing it professionally. So obviously, you guys are coming off a win. Let's talk about the Archdiocesan Championship. You won it again. Dave Resnick gave you some history lesson on how many in a row it was. Let's go through the numbers.
Yeah, so 5-3. So 8 of my 11 years. With 1 year, there was no diocesan. So 8 of the 10 eligible years, we've been in the Archdiocesan final, which I always say gets you that double bye.
Yeah.
So 2 in a row, and people don't know. Like we were 5-3. We'd lost 3 times. We lost a couple years ago, but I thought our guys came out. We got up 8-0 or 7-0. Really laser focus on the defensive end. A couple days of really good preparation, and that's really what we've been trying to preach to our guys. And credit to my staff and the scout we had in place, and the analytics and the what these guys were going to do. Get it to double digits to go into half, and came out slow to start the third quarter. Hayes cut it down to 8, and then to go on another run again. But I think it was like the last 2:52. They didn't score a basket. They didn't score a point, which kind of really got it because they got it back down to 9 again. And our defensive effort, they had scored 90 back-to-back games. So to hold them to 51 points, I think they're explosive offensively. Loads has always done a tremendous job on the offensive end, and they're playing like a little bit of modified like Alabama basketball, the way how fast they're playing and running and pressing and shooting it and West Coast style. But great win for our guys. It was another game, I think, for us. Our ultimate goal is to make history. We've been very vocal about it. Whereas teams in the past really celebrated, and it seemed like it was another game, another business approach to what we did and what we do. And yes, we enjoyed it, and we don't take it for granted. But Dave Resnick, 5-3, so 5 diocesan titles, all since 18, and it's been a great run.
Adonis said 21 points, 12 rebounds.
Yep.
Hassan had 16 points, 6 rebounds, and Josiah 10 points.
And the X factor was because was Dylan Perry 9-9. He was big for us,
and he seems like he's back healthy. Adonis hit some shots in that game, though. Yeah. If you watch some of these, like, do you still kind of marvel at like what he's doing?
Yeah, it's in the moment you're just like, wow. And then when I'll put my digital media team up with anybody, college or high school in this area, and when we have three main guys, right? So it's Hector leads the charge, and then there's Mike, and then Cooper, right? And like the angles they have, and I don't know where they are or what they're doing or how they get it. But you look back at some of the just how far he was from the 3-point line.
I know
some of the shots he made. And when he's on and playing like that, and coming back from his injury and building his conditioning back up, and the minute restriction that we had for a while is cleared, and you just to be able to stretch the floor. Is a big thing for us. So
Adam Finkelstein was our guest last week from CBS Sports, director of basketball scouting, and we asked him about the rat lifts and and he said so much is based on potential. And I'm like, watching Adonis the other day, I'm like, I don't know. It looks like he's kind of at his nearest potential right now. I mean, like, obviously they're going to get bigger and stronger, but like he really has more than arrived. I mean, it's just remarkable to watch what he's doing, how skilled he is.
And I think he said it best. If you get a chance, go watch his post-game press conference or interview live, because I thought it was great. But he was like, Josiah was going 25 on Tuesday. Tonight I had 23. It could be somebody else the next night. And that's been the best part. And if you watch the guys around him when he's done his interview with varsity media guys, it's the excitement. It was and I said in the locker room after, every night, somebody else has stepped up for us. A couple episodes ago, we talked about Josh Rivera versus Christ the King. Went up, he had a couple guys hurt and sick. And then the Tuesday night, like Dylan had to guard the kid Webb. Now Saturday, he has 9 and 9. You don't really know. And then Josiah didn't shoot it the best just because he was doing other things, 7 assists. And it was Adonis and Haas. So, we've been fortunate enough to come at guys with different weapons in different ways, and nobody cares whose night it is.
You guys have played 3 games. Yeah, you played 4 out of the first 7 days of the month.
Yep.
And back to back.
Yeah.
And then you've played 3 times since, and you're not playing until Sunday. Has this been a difficult stretch in terms of practice or anything like that? What has it been like?
Being in the diocesan final 8 times, we've mimicked what we do.
Of course.
And then the snow put a little bit into it. We were beat up after Hayes. We were beat up just the stretch we had. And so we really try to take a skill development approach, get our bodies right. We hold, some guys maybe doing a couple things different in practice just to make sure they're ready to go, working back to Sunday. And then we've always been big on taking Thursday off and give us 2 days to really ramp it up going into Sunday, because you don't know up until that time who you're playing. And the other factor too is in the end they're high school kids, and we factor some fun into it. So we don't keep the starters and the subs. We let them pick teams. Different contests we do that involve skill development, from ball handling to shooting. That gets competitive, and just the way it worked this week, it was Team Amir Smith versus Team Andrew Ray Rosario, and then after each event they could trade. Yeah. So you could trade people. So it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
To kind of
but while we continue to prep now for Iona.
You're playing Iona Prep.
Yeah.
Let's not bury that too much in this show.
So now we've never played them in the intersectional in my 11 years, 10 years, now 11. And now we get them in another setting that, you get 4,000 people at the county center. You get 2,300 people at Iona. And now we'll see what Rose Hill looks like on Sunday.
Let's not bury the lead here too much with Iona Prep. You're giving me updates. I was out at another game. You're giving me updates of Iona Prep. We're obviously watching scouting.
Yep.
They're playing St. Francis Prep. They beat them.
Yeah.
What are you sitting at home feeling watching this? Like, okay, you're going to face the winner of this game.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind watching Iona Prep play? And were you rooting them on, or what were you?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's different people talking. So you had the rumor was that St. Francis was beat up, right? Yeah. They were beat up, and they ended up They had 3 guys that were out, 2 all-league guys. Sacco was the leading scorer in the league this year, right in front of Josiah. So you didn't know, and then they kept hanging around. So you go down there with a mindset. My staff and I, we had just watched the freshman team play an unbelievable overtime game at home. We jetted down to the Bronx, got there about mid first quarter, and live scout is always I think the best way to go. There's so much technology now. You can watch it on film, but there's something different about it, and you got an opportunity to check out who we're going to play, and everybody's like, once everybody heard St. Francis was missing those key guys, that Iona was just going to kill them. And St. Francis hung around, and then Iona empowered their will, and they did a really good job. So you sit there and you're going, Stepinac Iona round 3 again.
Yeah.
And, so much to it. And now we just take it on the road out of Westchester down to the Bronx. And I think a lot of people, either pregame or postgame, are making their plans at Enzo's or Antonio's or wherever they're going down there.
It's got to add something to it, though.
It does. It does. It for the school communities, for the alumni, for the fans, for our guys, for myself. The rivalry is the rivalry, no matter when you play them. So, and I always say rivalry games are always harder because it doesn't matter what the records are, and it's easier. Guys who are supposed to win get a little tighter. Guys who are supposed to lose or worse record feel a little looser, start making shots they're not supposed to. So we'll have a great game plan in place. So will Timmy and his staff. They do a great job, and excited for just trying to survive in advance to get to Wednesday. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. But, Iona, like I said, and we played them in the diocesan tournament before, but never in the city tournament.
One other thing before we bring in our guests who just arrived in the studio, very excited. The awards for the league come out.
Yeah.
Josiah Jervis, obviously, and a lot of you guys getting awards.
Yeah.
What is the takeaway from that? Obviously, this is meaningful for these guys.
No, it's always so for those that don't know, and I think there was a lot of controversy in the A division this year. Real controversy over some stuff, but I'm not in the A, so I'm going to stay away from that. But the coaches vote. So we get a list. You get to submit it to the league. You vote on it. And I think that for the AA, the coaches got it right. I think you can't vote for your own players, obviously. But Josiah being the player of the year, he becomes the third guy that we've had. Him, R.J. Davis, and Boogie Flan.
Boogie win it once or twice?
Boogie won it once. Okay. Boogie won it once. So 3 guys in the last X amount of years. And then to get 3 others, Haas and Darius on first team, and then Adonis on third team. So 4 total guys. And, Dylan and Josh, if they probably were on a different team, probably get on an all-league team. Just being on the roster we have, they don't get the love. Yeah. But to get 4 out of the 15 slots or 16 slots, happy for those guys. The team was happy. And, ultimately the mindset that the program's gotten to and they've gotten to is it's great. It's a great individual award. But the only way for us to be who we are is to be team-minded and team centered, and that's what we're about.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. Obviously, Josiah's had a fantastic season. Yeah. This whole group, and hopefully a lot more to come with this team. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Kevin Clancy from Barstool Sports is going to join us. Very excited. He's now become, I think, the #1 Barstool supporter of Stepinac basketball. You know where we're going with that. We'll be back in just a moment here on the Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast. The Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast is back. And once again, it is brought to you by All Pro Cleaning and Restoration, a Balfour company, commercial, residential property restoration and construction company. Services include fire and water damage restoration, mold remediation, HVAC, duct cleaning, and complete construction services. Been a valued service provider for Westchester County and the Tri-State area for over 35 years and a proud supporter of Stepinac basketball, as is White Plains Hospital, a sponsor of GameDay One, and has been so good to high school athletics, Stepinac basketball, and GameDay One since we started. Welcome back to the Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast, episode 13. It is the playoff time, and we're going to bring in our guest here today, who's become, I think, Coach Pat Mass, you'd say he's become one of your biggest supporters in general, I think, of Stepinac basketball. Kevin Clancy from Barstool Sports. Kev, so I'm going to tell you a story. So I'm at a game this year, and every once in a while, we see college coaches walk in. I saw Roy Williams there one time. And I'm not I'm going to say starstruck, but one time you walked in, I was like, oh, crap, that's the guy from Barstool.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So welcome to the show, first off.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
I guess when you're not expecting to see someone like yourself walking in. So what has brought you your interest into Stepinac basketball?
I'm the #1 Stepinac fan, certainly at Barstool Sports, maybe 100%. Even in the world at this point.
I can't even imagine who #2 would be.
Nobody of consequence, I'll tell you that much. No one that we really even need to worry about.
Can't wait for the tweet and the
so
Instagram comment.
We're having a little fun with your good friend Rico Bosco, who's another guy who walked into the county center a few years ago.
Do not say that you were starstruck by Rico Bosco.
So I love Rico Bosco. Rico's awesome. He is a huge supporter of high school basketball.
He was a legend at Zavarian.
Mm-hmm. Legend at Zavarian? In what way?
He was on the team.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I wasn't sure what you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
no, Fields. They went on to play a pit.
Okay.
Rico was.
Rico was practically like the captain of the team.
Yeah. They honored that team. Rico was back at the start. Rico is.
So
he's pro Zavarian, pro CHSA.
So was that the team they played Mount Vernon, or they played in the Glen Falls?
So, yeah.
He was on that team.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I
think so.
That's impressive. All right, so that's I'm a little bit more.
He gets a little more credibility now.
All right, a little bit, but he's a huge Catholic high school basketball fan. High school basketball fan.
Huge advocate on especially Twitter.
What is this, the Rico Bosco show now? What are we doing here?
So the thing is that I always thought Barstool is Rico, into Stepinac, talks to Pat, and then all of a sudden you walk in and you've totally usurped him as the guy.
I had to take care of that.
Is it a Westchester thing? Because you're from Westchester.
Stepinac's literally around the corner from my house. I was like, I can't have Rico Bosco representing this. So be gone.
And so, Pat, you've become close to both these guys.
Yeah,
I know you talk to Rico a lot.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the Rico Bosco stuff has been because he's like head recruiter for the Northeast for Alabama basketball, right? Is that basically what he's become?
I guess.
The big
many
Bama
other
guy.
programs.
Yeah.
Rico is, whichever coach will like text him or give him attention, he becomes the #1 fan.
Okay, all right.
So if you want Rico Bosco in your pocket, just be like, I like you, Rico, and then he's like, do anything for you.
You're not recruiting for anybody. You're just a basketball fan. So
Yeah.
tell me about coming to games. You're bringing your kids.
It's like family affair every week to close out the season, basically. And it's like my only social life. Like I don't do anything else. Like I'm at home, at work, or at Stepinac basketball games with my kids.
So you go, as you said, consistently. So I brought my son this year. Your son got to play at halftime of a game.
Yeah,
and I watched it. I'm like, well, I'm gonna do that. If I have the hook in here,
Yeah.
So we hooked it up.
That was great, by the way. Those kids loved that
loved it.
night.
Well, that's
They
the
loved
thing.
it.
So I live in Armonk. A lot of my friends take their kids to the Knick games. They sit courtside. I don't know how the hell they do this, but they do it. And it's like, oh, we got to meet John Starks and all this stuff. I'm like, that's cool, but like I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I brought my son and his friends to Stepinac, and I was like, didn't cost me anything, and it was the greatest.
Bro,
they're more
and
enamored with those guys.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, we've gone to the Garden as well, and it's fun, but it's like, it's a production. I drove in, drove out. We were getting out of the garage. Took like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing, This is like, you're sitting courtside, you're in like a small gyms, and you're still watching like high quality real basketball. So like when I'm watching my kids, I'm pointing out like how, what they're doing because it's
Yeah.
a high level, but you have, almost like unprecedented access, and these kids are gonna go on to D1, hopefully to the league. Like you're getting to see great basketball at an up close and personal level. And then, I mean, coach was awesome. Like playing at halftime was probably the highlight of my son's life so far.
Yeah.
And then they went into the locker room. They're getting autographs. They're watching the speech, like seeing the inner workings of it. I think it's fun for me, but I think it's like genuinely good for my kids to see it.
You've had a lot of people that have wanted to play at halftime, or
Yeah, we've always been like try to get the local parishes and local schools to play at halftime, right? It's something that's been more on the big games. This year, so we had 7 home games and the county center, 2 games at the county center. So we had nine halftimes were different teams, and we expanded this year to different organizations all over kind of Westchester. Play at halftime, and it's an awesome experience for the kids. You don't realize how much they like it until it's over,
Yes.
right? Until it's after the fact.
Right.
And the notes you usually get from like the dads or moms on how amazing it was. Because I think our guys, I always tell our guys, you never know who's going to be who watches you, right? Wherever you play in the country. So it helps when it comes to playing hard and competing and putting on a show. And we've sold out, I think it's like 18 of our last 24 home games, whether it's a Tuesday, Friday, or Sunday. We've obviously sold out the county center a couple times over the last 5-6 years. So it's become for $5 or $10, depending at what age you are.
That's the other thing that costs.
yeah, I know, yeah.
And you don't have to pay for parking, and you get a pretty good, snack or hot dog from the concession stand at a reasonable price. It's become something locally for many. Like Kevin and the kids and his kids. And,
you didn't have to bump any teams out of halftime, did you?
Yeah, we did. We double booked. Ryan, our producer. We double booked. He's first on the list next year. I don't have our schedule next year,
know.
even though our phone's blowing up to play all over the country.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have. I think we're gonna get a pretty marquee game at home next year. But that's we'll worry about next year. But we did bump Ryan. There was a double booking. I took the blame.
Yes.
I took the hit.
I was on the
It's a hot ticket, man.
That's it. So we made up for it.
No,
and I know he's
and they
laughing
got to
behind my
come
head.
and be in the
they got him in the locker room and all that stuff. But can I go a little background on how this relationship kind of came about, right? So it was the opener. It was the opener back in December, and as people that know me, so I'm on my phone a lot. But when it's the 2 hours of basketball, like my phone is in the locker room, it's on Do Not Disturb. No, my tradition is I always FaceTime my kids and my wife because she's got to answer the phone. My 5-year-old can't answer the phone.
Yeah,
or she probably can, but
Not yet. I was going to say, give it like a year, bro.
Yeah, probably. But I FaceTime them before the game. Everybody leaves me alone in the locker room. It's kind of what I do and kind of mentally go whatever. So, and then Hector and I, Hector runs all our digital content, whatever. But your tag kind of from that first game or that post or message was in, and Kevin knows it. You guys know this. So you have the regular folder. Now Instagram's got like a request folder, and then you have like a spam folder. Primary, it's 3 things now. Yeah. So his was in the request, but like we never saw it, kind of. And I think you got stuck in like the back corner, standing, laying on the floor of the game, that Scanlon game back in December.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so we exchanged messages, and then we exchanged numbers, and it was, just let's communicate, that way and get you in. And shock Rico didn't give you my number and all that good stuff. But,
well, So my kid's friend is either cousins or they say cousins for familiarity with Jack Coco's family.
Okay.
And so they had a game planned, a night to go out to dinner and then go to the game. And I wasn't a part of those initial plans, but they went to the pizza place right at the Lombardo's right on the corner from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I walk in, I see them at dinner, and my son's like, why are we, like, what happened? I don't know, I just missed the text. But I wasn't a part of the dinner, but they were like, we're going over to the Stepinac game right now. And that's when because I didn't have a ticket, and I was like, I think it's a hot ticket. I don't know if I can get in. So I messaged him, or I messaged the account saying, hey, if it's possible, if I could get me and my son in the game. And then we eventually start talking. I'm thinking it's like a high school kid, an intern, somebody running. And he's saying like I and we and all this stuff. I was like, wait, who am I speaking to right now? And he's like, Coach. I was like, what?
I know.
Other people have the password, but I got it. Yeah.
So you bring your son, and right away, I think one of the games you went to that I knew you were there, Jack Coco was. Actually, you were watching. I knew you were talking. You were watching on TV. It was the game when they're in Florida. Yes. And Jack Coco had like a series of plays. He
always does.
Yeah,
he'll have
always.
like 3 or 4 up and down.
And I said to myself, KFC's gonna love Jack Coco. Like, and you did right away.
Love the guy.
So let's talk about Jack
when
Coco.
I grow up, I want to be Jack Coco.
I know, it's amazing. So does Dylan Devaney, my son. Yeah. So tell me about the reason why, because I have a reason why my son loves Jack Coco, because it's the player that it's the smaller white kid on the team.
You can emulate it.
You can, you feel
which is funny though, by the way, because he is a tremendous athlete.
I know,
playing on one of the best high schools
and everyone
teams in the country. But I'm like, oh, he's the small white guy who's like us. It's like, no, he's not.
My son's not going to grow up to be 7 feet.
No,
right?
Yes.
So he can't be the Ratliffs. But like he could be Jack Coco, right?
Absolutely.
I think every parent that takes their kids to watch the game probably thinks my son could be that guy, right? So why Jack Coco for you? Is it just the hustle plays?
I mean, like, again, to ever say like. It reminds me of myself. It's like, no. Like, not at all. Again, you're playing on a top program in the country. He's super athletic. He could run. He could jump. He could do it all. But from, like, a looks perspective, when, you're not going to be the 7-foot twins, and you can be this guy. And I think he's, like, the quintessential, if everybody played like Jack Coco played, if every star had the heart and hustle of Jack Coco, they'd be that much better. But again, he does have the skills and the athleticism to boot. I don't think he'd be playing on a team like yours if he didn't.
No, and I think he plays so hard, right? And we've all addressed that. He's been on the show.
Crazy,
hard, right? And the fact that he continues to keep his body the way it is and work at it. But, like, we have some really, really high academic, really, really good Division III schools that are like, well, his stats aren't sexy and this and that. And I'm like, we're down to like 5 schools now that are really, really, really high level, top 20 schools basketball Division III wise, and I'm like, if you're only worried about sexy, then don't even call the kid, right? If you're worried about a winner, guy playing extremely hard, 4.0 GPA, 31 ACT, right, great teammate, right, and all this other stuff, like, then take him, and that's kind of how also those other 3 seniors with him. I always say it, Jack, Amir, Patrice, and Drew will play and have more productive college careers just because of who they were behind.
In high school.
In high school. It's happened, I use Matt Brand at Hobart, Josh Zangerly and Jonah Pang at Johnson and Wales. Like, go to Justin Reddy right now. It goes down the list.
That kind of like goes against everything I believe that college coaches, like, I think that college coaches should be able to look at a player and know if they can play and not worry about stats, but like they're worried about. Is that more like selling it
just
internally?
Image. Yeah, it's just image.
Oh, we're bringing
but also, I mean, I don't know. From just looking at like how it unfolded with me, like those guys are the stars, but I think Jack Coco's like the story and the draw. So if you're worried about sexy because you're worried about like brand perception, reputation.
It's not.
But he brings a different element of that. It might not be traditional sexy, but like that's a fan favorite. That's someone that your program can like grow on. I think there's a lot of value in that if you're recruiting for just sexy numbers, you're probably doing a bad job anyway.
Well, and the thing is, I've heard over the years so many times with like Mount Vernon basketball player recruits that college coach. There's been a lot of guys Mount Vernon who are 6 foot, who are probably like 5'9", right? And college coach said to me once, he's like, these are the guys. If they work out, it's great. Everyone loves them. If they don't, this is why you get fired. Because you were like, why are you bringing in 5'9", 5'10" guards? Right. At a high level. So I understand it. And but to me, like worrying about if you want to say like his 3-point shooting percentage is not as high as they want it to be. That's fine. But like, to be honest with you, those guys, players get better shooting as they go to college anyway.
Yeah.
Just because of reps and, so.
And I just don't think, and this is for everything in life, like people don't trust their own eyes. They don't trust their gut.
I know, but
and some are right now. Like some are calling them, hitting them up, ramping it up in recruiting. And same with those other guys that are just playing limited minutes, which would be, they're all 9 of these seniors are going to go play college. 5 are done, and the 5 deserve the recognition they've gotten and how good they are, and their roles and the success and the individual awards, and how they'll be compensated. But these other 4 are going to, I'm telling you, this be a, keep saying it, this is like a once in a generation team. And we're still going to be good going forward, right? We're going to be okay. But, like, this is a unique group going forward.
That was my next thing. So you're there. You're watching the Ratliffs, Josiah Jervis, Son Caresi, all these guys. They're all going to graduate. You see yourself in a Stepinac game next year with the lack of star power, right? That's what everyone's going to talk about.
The next
front,
star. It's the name on the front.
But
I also have supreme confidence that this is, while, yes, 3 All-Americans, and this is a very special time, I have supreme confidence. This is the beginning for Stepinac almost. Like, this is the kind of stuff that puts you on the map in a way where maybe you don't get 3 All-Americans again, but you have a pipeline that just continues to show up.
Tell me about I watched the Ratliffs over the last few years grow and, like, incredible. But when you see the Ratliffs, kind of how do you marvel at their skills?
Freaks. They're absolute freaks. It's crazy. You know what I don't know if this was your decision, their decision, or just how the way the game is. It's just crazy to me to see 7-foot high school kids play with their back not to the hoop. Like, they're never posting up. They're but they're not just bullying smaller kids. They're not just utilizing their height. They're facing the hoop. They can shoot. They can dribble, which obviously you're going to need at the next levels. But man, it's got to be so tempting to just be like, let's just go dominate these kids who are a foot shorter than me, but they play like they're at the next level already. So that was what jumped out to me, is like, it's 7 foot, but they're playing like guards.
Yeah, and I mean they do such good. They've done such a great job of their skill development and credit. I always say credit to their dad and the people that have been around them.
Was that like their choice? Like, you're
I think Theo just at a young age just taught them skill set wise farther from the basket. And worked them in. Now 14, 15, 16-year career in the NBA, you get to see all that. So they still could play back to the basket. Darius likes it more than Adonis likes it, but they're still skilled down there. They just do things that are so unique and different that we're going to go to their strengths and what they do on that side of things. So
what a life for Theo Ratliff. Like the fact that his NBA career is probably not the best achievement of his life.
Right.
That's crazy. The fact that
it is.
You have your career, and then you're like, I hope one day my kids play, and you get 2, and they're 7 feet, and they can play. Like, holy
his
moly.
daughters are good athletes, but volleyball and basketball in college.
Volleyball in Ole Miss.
I wonder. I've he's very quiet, right?
And that's the other thing I love about him. Like, the first game I went to, I was stuck in the back corner. He just kind of chills in that back left corner, and he's
on the
very
trainer's
calm.
table.
I guess at games like he yells at them to be tougher or whatever. The one daughter put out a little piece.
But the only people he ever talks to is his own kids. Just in getting a taste of youth sports as like an assistant coach or with my kids or whatever, the amount of dads who are just yelling at refs, yelling at other players, other parents. He's so quiet, respectful, but he's still focused on his kids.
It's interesting we talk about this. So parents are they make it really hard to coach, right?
I
think a lot of
you can't.
So this is top team in the one of the top teams in the country, and he deals with a lot of parents.
The parent stuff is. I always said after year 1, the parent stuff I went through almost made me stop coaching right then. Like it was bad, and we were 10 and 18.
In what regard, like playing time
just
stuff?
Like the phone calls, playing time. This you can't coach. You're not doing that.
He was very young. I mean, he was extremely young.
Yeah, it was. So people see there's vulnerability there and all that. But I was like, and by the way, my guy Swain. He's doing much better.
Good.
Go visit him. My assistant, who's been battling some health issues. He's got moved up to Burke Rehab, one of our partners, and he's there and hopefully going to long recovery, but he's doing much better. So taking visitors as well for everybody that's been asking. But for him and I, we're like, we're going to do it our way. And the parents, our door, besides right after a game, is, you could call, but you're going to hear the truth, right? Back to the parent, and to round this out, like I've had 3 NBA. So Adrian Griffin, right, had 2 sons that played for us. Played in the NBA, was the head coach of the Bucks, long time, right, high-level basketball involvement. Howard Isley Sr., who obviously played in the NBA, Utah Jazz, longtime coach, still involved with basketball, college assistant, NBA assistant, and now Theo. And it's amazing to me that the 3 NBA dads have been the least amount of issues.
I know.
Like
if
the
that's
3
not
amount,
like indicative that everyone else
the
should
least
shut
amount
up.
of issues.
And they
like,
all, there's a
and
reason
it's not
why
like
each
telling
of them,
me what to do or
No,
us.
no.
Like he doesn't tell our stuff. Yeah. Do we rely on those 3 guys? Have we to say, what do you see either in your own son or the team? Yeah, the 3 of them, like nothing but encouragement and positivity.
So obviously, Griffin father was coaching the NBA, so he wasn't at a lot of games. I used to see him come in every once in a while. He'd watch on live stream.
Yeah,
a little pressure to make sure the live streams are working good.
Yeah.
So then he wasn't around. So you could see if he ever had a problem that he's just watching. He's not there every day. So but he never had a problem, right?
No.
And then you have Theo Ratliff, who's at everything, and he does. So you're right. It is crazy to me.
And the moms, the wives of the moms, like they're not a headache either. Like
No.
So
but 22-4, you should have no headaches.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's there to even be about?
People are always
Let's not put him on the spot on his own show here. But yeah, so
one day when I'm not or after the season, I'll give a parent session.
I met
and
Jack
somebody
Coco's
will pick it up. Like everybody keeps picking up clips of this show and keep grabbing on their own page.
Well, I know what the spicy ones are. So I know. That's what I hear. I know. I look at the time.
So
when I met Jack Coco's family, I met his mom, and my kids were like, can you get a picture with her? I'm like, even the parents of this program are celebs.
Yeah, they are. And so you had a senior day. So let's talk about this. So you talked about how he turns his phone off during the games, right?
Yeah.
You deal with a crazy amount of social media response, right? Mm-hmm. So does Coach. Sure. Everybody at
his platform's a little bigger than mine.
I know. In December, everybody in the country wanted to be Stepinac basketball coach because they thought the Rattlers should both be posting up. They should be Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing inside because that's how people thought basketball should be played now, and they should be posting up and scoring. So, like, how do you deal with this? And you could give advice on this on dealing with online criticism.
You go first.
I feel like what I want to do one day is like when I'm done with making content, I want to be like a PR specialist specifically for like sports teams and programs where it's like it's not easy to navigate, but it's really also not that hard to royally screw up. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be hate, there's always going to be chatter. It helps a lot when you got the goods. Like you know you're a good coach. You know you have good players. You're 22-4. So that you know in those cases that the criticism is kind of just noise because it's like the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different when you're struggling. I'm sure where maybe some of that criticism is valid.
This is the first year though that we had like the DMs and the
because with the popularity is going to come.
Yeah. This was the first year.
Success breeds the popularity, which breeds the hate.
Yeah.
But hopefully that success still is there. But the main thing to me is always like, there are the people who say, I don't read comments and I don't pay attention. It's like, you're lying. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
The difference is whether you let it impact you and affect what you're doing. And I think the peak that you can hopefully reach is where you take some of that criticism that's warranted and you can recognize that and utilize that and make changes, grow, and filter out just the nonsense. And it's hard to sometimes parse between those two things. Yeah. But I always say you can't take the good and you can't take the bad. You have to throw out the extremes. So everyone praising you, that's just as stupid as the people who are killing you. You got to find that middle spot.
Yeah, we're always looking when you're winning, right? You try to look for things to motivate your team, right? Especially high school kids. And we are big on like not being on social media as individuals in any sort of negative light. Like that's bothersome to me and my staff. The biggest motivation, and right now, today, right, going into this, is still members of the New York City media that continue to talk negative about me and us, like my players and my staff.
Yeah.
So like the teams have stopped and the players have kind of stopped. That was a thing
they've learned,
for a couple years. Like we will bulletin board material you. Like my guy Heck is a master.
Talking about you.
He's a master. Right?
Guy.
He's like we've used that to try to motivate different ways because you try to motivate after a loss, right, or do something bad. But like there's still we have it chopped up. Like New York City media that are not just support, like they cover us, right? But they there's negative to it. There's negative to it.
There's always a little,
especially in New York, man. They're never going to be positive.
The negative now is like, well, this run's going to end.
Right.
It's kind of what I've gathered a little bit of this stuff. But my favorite one, we talked about in the first show. I did not know this until Pepper on the show. I was like, oh my God, was Jefferson in the city?
Yeah.
Their hashtag was
about me.
Was about get back. Spank Pat, right? That's what it was?
Yeah.
That's That's like
That's pretty like the official team.
Yeah,
like,
that was like-
on the team
yeah,
page.
they abbreviated or something like
How'd that feel?
Yeah,
It was-
they killed him.
I was gonna say, when we won by 60, it felt just fine.
Yeah. So you do use that stuff as
Yeah. So my staff does a great job. Our players do a great job of being positive about it, but also sharing what like when something gets posted, it gets spread so quick amongst. And I do think being younger and more relatable. Now, am I a master on digital content? No. Have we built our accounts from the ground up? Me and my guy Hector for 11 years, literally ground up.
You do a great job at that.
Like,
It's a great presence.
and it's what the world has come to, as you know.
All those, I always see like the photographers on like the baselines. Are those independent, or that's like part of the program?
Some are part of our program and specifically with us, and then some are just want to cover and try to promote their own pages and cover our guys. But
because they get awesome footage, great shots. Do you, sorry to interrupt. Do you have like a team rule about social media or anything? I remember when I was younger, I was like, if I was ever a GM of a team or a coach, I would have a no social media policy. That was 15 years ago. Yeah. Now it's just not.
Over the
not
years,
reasonable.
we've evolved. We've always been like, if we lose, you shouldn't post. Like, we as a team post.
Yeah.
But I can't. I watch teams lose, and then some of their players are putting like highlight tapes out.
Their
24
stats,
hours later.
I've seen it on the bus ride home.
Yeah, like it's so we post win or lose. That's something that a lot of teams are not doing.
Yeah.
Even college teams. We'll get Rico involved in this, but college teams don't post when they lose. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, did you win or lose? I couldn't watch your game.
Yeah.
So I try to click an Instagram story and you post the first quarter or first half. You post the under 4 timeout and post the final score.
Yeah.
How hard is your digital content to post, right? So we don't. I think we live in a self-promotion world. It's harder and harder to get recruited out of high school. So we never hamper on a kid. We try to encourage clean songs, clean language, image, all that stuff. But I think the world is, you got to evolve with it. Like, I still remember 11-year girls. People were like, everybody's got to wear the same shoes and same color shocks and same undershirt. And I'm like, why am I picking that battle?
Let them live.
Why am I picking that battle?
Totally.
You know, we have an unbelievable deal right now with Under Armour. Like, they give us, and our guys get more stuff than you can imagine. It's college level. The one guy, you know, I always say, like, Darius wears a size 17, you know, and somebody might wear a size 13. Their feet fit different in different shoes. What am I?
Yeah, let them live.
You play hard and you compete and share the ball.
Yeah.
It can be purple, red. I don't really care.
Well, I just got to know, you have a 10:30 you have a meeting?
That's
today?
all right. No, I got 11, but we're all right.
Good.
No,
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry,
All right, good.
I have time too.
No,
We're good. We're good.
So just keep
I know
going.
Ryan said, you know, my guy, you know, Ryan said keep it short and sweet, but this is.
He was saying, he's like, "Oh, we'll get you out of there." I'm like,
Yeah,
"I'm good,
we're
man."
good. We're on a roll.
No,
right
this
now.
is
We're on a
good.
roll.
This is fun,
No.
and I'm enjoying this. I'm just worried about you.
No, we're good.
Because
We're good.
I don't know if you know, coach is a day job. It's not coaching Stepinac basketball. It's not a full-time gig. Obviously, it's something that, you know, obviously works in the advancement office, and it's pretty incredible. Wait,
what does that mean? The advancement office?
So
raises money for the school.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
you know, when I started, it was development, and now it's advanced. You know, the whole industry is transformed to advancement. So the whole point is that you're advancing the mission of whatever your non-for-profit or school is. So I still remember going to conferences. It was like the development conference, and now it's come to the advancement conference all over the country. So VP of Institutional Advancement, my team, I talk about all the time, amazing team, group of guys that I work with. We're in charge of raising all the money above and beyond for the operating budget, specific scholarship and financial aid, capital projects.
So this guy, he walks in with the head of hair and the baby blues.
Yeah,
He shakes
so-
some hands. He gets some money.
Yeah, so it's very college.
People think I just coach, but it's...
No, I know.
And the only reason today
or
was...
someone said he teaches gym, right? I said no, he doesn't teach gym. My wife teaches gym. You don't teach gym.
Nah, I don't
But
do
wait,
gym.
so what is your job that, or is
Yeah,
it, is it
8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
and then you're a head coach on the side?
12 months a year. That's one thing about our, like, working in school. We work 12 months. I get to wear shorts in the summer versus, you know, shirt and tie and all that good stuff.
As important a job as there is in the school.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
We talk all the time.
And the
Admissions
all the money
in
makes you
Catholic
go.
education or private education, admissions and advancement, the two key buckets. If you don't have people in the seats and you're not raising money, usually your business, which is a school, fails. You know,
Are you seeing like a trickle down from NIL in college? Does that affect high school hoops?
Yes. We have all 5 of our guys that are going to play Division I this year have joined the ranks of like the previous guys we've had since it became New York eligible. Because not every state high school kid, I think it's only up to 18 now. 18 of the 50 states, kids can in high school be compensated. New York is one.
Okay, so they're
And-
being paid now.
They can be, not by us. It is not by. That's a whole notion. Stepinac's been successful, and they kept everybody because they paid all the kids. Completely false. I actually heard
is that even like legal? Could you do that?
No, absolutely not. No.
Like, well, I don't know anymore. NIL still.
I know all the rules.
No, but do all of our guys have some sort of? Have they gotten deals? Yeah, some more bigger than others, and some have done different things. Boogie had deals.
I saw Josiah on Instagram.
He just did a deal with Mariano Rivera Toyota.
Yeah. Is that something they have to like clear with you?
No, not with me.
Or they can do that separately.
Yeah. I mean, some of our guys have agents. Some don't. Some rely on. Stepinac was the first high school in the tri-state. We partnered with a company called Accelerate Sports Ventures, a gentleman by the name of Doug Phillis, whose dad went to Stepinac. Doug's a Westchester guy, now moved to Jersey. But
high school friend of mine. So weird. High school baseball
was a longtime college AD, assistant AD, that when this all was coming about, started his own business, which is now boomed across the country. Father Collins, our president, brought Doug on for all of our student athletes. And Doug is our NIL consultant for any Stepinac family or student athlete. So these
literally
guys
you can call him up and ask him a question.
Yeah, you don't have to hire anything outside.
What a world it is now.
So think about that. So if you're in 8th grade and you're a parent, your kid's in 8th grade, and you're like, well, I'm going to choose between school A, school B, or Stepinac, they're on the leading edge of something and they've been kind of out in front of something. That's gotta help you attract.
We tried to adapt. Like when you first joined Local Live, we tried to adapt and join in the streaming wise. Now you went to NBC Sports Engine, right? That having Doug on board, NIL consultant wise, it's a resource. If you're a wrestler, you run track, or you're a high-profile basketball player, football player. Your name, image, likeness, as you know, we know, is it could be anything you want. So we've embraced it. There is dislike and haters that we've embraced it as a program. The Josiah piece, which was unbelievably shot the other day. So Josiah did a deal with Mariano Rivera Toyota up in Mount Kisco, and Mariano's kid went to Iona Prep. Like he's supporting.
He lives around the corner from Stepinac.
So
how do you have a problem?
People
with that?
are like
problem,
people are against what came out, and the piece was awesome.
It was really
went
nice.
viral. It was and majority of the comments, like you talk about, I read the comment, but majority was 99%. But some back end for some people in the area were not like got some nasty notes about. Or got back to me that
in what regard? Because of the
just
content,
like
they
shouldn't be getting compensated and shouldn't be doing deals.
I mean,
it's so great. It's like hilarious.
It's as simple as like if you generate money, I think you should get a piece of that. Whether it's I get as you get younger, it gets more difficult to navigate. But like as long as it's handled properly, what is the problem, man?
These guys have also done nothing but bring positive attention to the school. They've never had
and the best part is our school is so behind it, so supportive of what it is, as long as it's within following the rules and doing what we're doing. NIL is legal in New York.
That's all
and
that
our
matters.
guys. None of the deals are Stepinac driven. They're outside deals because of how successful they are. And
that's the world now. Like you're
just like when Boogie and Ian was at Cardinal Hayes, right? He had deals left and right.
A program
so
we
have six guys on this roster that have all done a deal or will do a deal this season.
To me, at this level, you're like a business. You're like a corporation almost in a way, and it's like there's there's so much value in embracing the new social media, the new NIL. Even with guys like Jack Coco, and it's like you're talking about the stats. It's like the value that a kid like that can bring to your social media program, to your like fans. And, there's more than one way to provide value in this world of NIL and everything else.
Adapt or die, right? That's what
it's like these are if you're freaking out about it now, in 10 years, you'll never even be thinking about this again. So like, just get with the times.
We've always tried to be proactive in what we do as a program. Like I said, Swain's been with me from day one. We've always tried to, how do we think different? How do we be different? How do we get, season ticket, digital media sponsors? How do we get celebrities at our games? How do we get people to support our program?
That's I don't want to say just as important as the product on the court, because obviously you have to win. But like once you figure out that piece, that's the next most important. I mean, look, who was the college kid last year? I I can't remember his name now. The manager.
The manager. Yeah, McNeese State.
Yes, McNeese.
He's back.
And he's
NC State wouldn't take his credits
I know.
to transfer Will Wade, so he's back at
it's
McNeese.
Crazy.
He's back.
But
So-
we interviewed him. He went viral.
Yeah,
It's like that brought a lot.
he made like
of value.
$100,000 in like a week.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember that. Dude, it feels like so
Yeah.
long ago. So, all right. So they have more basketball games than we played, right? So they got to beat Iona Prep, their rival, on Sunday in the quarterfinals to go and get to the Final Four and win a championship. So basically, right now, you are a huge Mets and Jets fan. Stepinac is basically the Dodgers right now in our world, because I'm a Mets fan too. How much pressure as a sports fan? Them going into this, and I said about Pat, all the pressure in the world's on Stepinac before the season started, and you were just like, "Oh, thanks a lot, Kev." But it's got to, as a pure sports fan, you have to look at this and be like, "This is either going to be like the greatest team that's come through the Catholic League in however long." Or the greatest upset,
or an
in
18-1 sort of Patriots.
What do you, as a sports fan, how are you telling? How do you feel about Coach Pat and his team going into this right now?
I mean, it's hard for me to every game I've seen, you guys have absolutely handled business. The maybe a slow start in the first half was like the worst I've seen you guys play. So I can't even fathom a world where you don't get this done. I know you're playing a lot of good teams. Yeah. It's funny for me growing up, I always knew of the Christ the Kings and Rays and those were the names, Scanlon even, and now it's Stepinac. So, but I mean, if they get upset, yikes!
I know. So, but we're the outside observers to all this, right? So, do you guys feel that pressure inside?
I think we did feel the pressure when we were preseason #1 and we started off right. We lost the opener down in Maryland and. We were minus Danny at the time, who was our senior point guard last year. It was tremendous. And I think, and then there was pressure in December, and you get on NBA TV twice and ESPN twice. And I think kind of something about the group clicked and pressure. Yeah, there's pressure. There's pressure. Nobody's won 4 in a row. Nobody's won 4 in a row.
Ever?
And the league's been around. So this is the 98th city championship.
Sheesh.
Wow.
I was told. Nobody's won 4. 5 teams have won 3. So we're in history already. It's probably, I told the team before the playoffs started, it's probably never going to be done again if we can make it happen. Right? Yeah. It's probably not.
Really?
Never going to say never, but it's been around since 1920. Yeah. Nobody's ever done it. And the best part about it is our guys they're the ones embraced it. They're the ones who have, this was back to last April and May when they were like, we're not leaving. When everybody was poaching them to leave. This is what we're set out to do. So, is there pressure? Yeah, there's pressure. Whenever you're the #1 seed, there's pressure. Whenever they're and as much as people smile and like us and with us, you can't tell me there's people in the league that don't want us to lose.
I would say exclusively everybody in the league wants you to lose.
I made the Dodgers comparison because everyone expects them to win. And they had the best player, and so I get it. And
but wait, so they were trying to what programs were trying to poach them away? Like big time national, level?
all the I'm going to keep the names out of it.
Yeah,
I don't want them
but that's the difference. Is
the
academies, these are powerhouses. Yeah,
the academies,
and that's they want you to move to Virginia, or whatever,
Ohio, Florida, California, Arizona.
And everybody said we're staying put.
Yeah. Boarding. I call us traditional high school, where guys go home every night, and those are like academies. So the academies on it.
I mean, you've got to be one of the best programs ever. That's not one of those academies, right? I mean,
well, before those academies existed. Oak Hill was the first one that I remember. Everyone knew Oak Hill, right?
Forever.
But before those schools existed, I mean, you're in a pretty select company.
I remember listening to Gilbert Arenas and Matt Barnes talk about their kids because Gilbert didn't want to create a powerhouse. He wanted his kids to play a more normal basketball experience. And I'd imagine there's a lot of temptation to just go to a Oak Hill or whatever and. So I mean, credit to those guys.
And I always say it's the right situation for that respective family and kid. And I think we've shown that you don't have to go to those. Some of them do offer compensation, either as a school or a league, to go play on those rosters, which we've been able to combat a little bit with Doug and having an NIL consultant and having the New York market. It's a lot easier to get marketed in New York, especially on some deals.
Yeah.
So all your kids are local?
Yeah, everybody goes home at night.
They grew up here?
Take the train, the bus, the 60, Bronx.
Crazy.
So I always go through the roster. So you go, and I'll do a number order in my head. So you got Yonkers, New Rochelle, Manhattan, 32nd Street, Manhattan, New Rochelle, because he's a twin. Yonkers, Harlem, Bergenfield, New Jersey, Rye/Harrison, depending which day Coco wants to say he's from Rye or Harrison.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Mount Vernon, the Bronx, Manhattan again, the Bronx, Harlem, and White Plains. That's our roster. Those are the 15 guys on the roster.
Wow.
Right there.
So in that, it's funny because it's like he's the Dodgers because they're winning, but he's not really the Dodgers.
He's not really Dodgers, like bringing in guys from all over.
It's more like one of those small market teams that figures it out the sauce.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, it's probably a better comparison now.
Yeah, I'll take the Dodgers win. We want to win. Winning matters, and that's what it is on that. I know we're longevity here and whatnot, but and I'll probably text my 11 o'clock that I'll be a little bit late.
A few minutes late,
I just want for where your guys' brand got you start. Right. How long you been with Dave?
Since 2009, so 15, 16 years.
How you guys went, there wasn't as digital as it was now, right? I mean,
when we started, we were just a blog. It was like a URL. You had to go to barstoolsports.com to read your blog.
Yeah.
And then I remember I set up all of our Twitter accounts. I was like, we got to be on Twitter. And then from there, it's like every time something new, another platform comes out, we got to be on that.
Right.
So I always do try. I pride myself on at least trying to be the first on a lot of things. I feel like my role at Barstool has been kind of like opening the doors, and then everybody comes along.
Yeah.
But so we did that. I did that with social media. I did that with podcasting. Now into this short form video world. So I think you got to just keep pushing
just hit on. I just want for the people that do listen to us, and there's more and more. We started in the basement of Stepinac, and then we've upgraded to here, which is pretty nice. And you guys have great studios. You guys have become an empire in so many buckets. What was the adapting like? Everybody sees the image of you and Dave and Rico and go down the list, but you've got
that's the big three.
Right,
me, Dave, and Rico. Yeah.
No, I mean
Cats.
Big Cat. I mean, it's the fact Big Cat's gonna find me one day.
I know.
Put Rico over me.
Rico ranked the ranking. Yeah, okay.
Rank Rico over me. But even now, the amount of female employees you guys have, and the younger generation that has been. There's Barstool everywhere,
Yeah, I think in a way we almost got lucky, kind of like what you're experiencing right now with your kids, where it's like we're a good program and we have the longevity, but there was a period of time early on where it all clicked, and it happened to be our first hires. Dave hired me and another guy in New York, and we got along. We worked hard. People thought we were funny, so he recruited the right guys in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then that allowed us. In the beginning, it was really 5 or 6 of us, let's say, really the core doing it. And then we've been able to grow into the female demographic, the different sports lanes.
Yeah.
It really just kind of spiraled out from there. But it all stemmed from hardworking people who just wanted to do this and cared. We were really into it. I liked doing it.
Yeah.
And for me, it was never a we're in the basement, and my goal is to be up here. My goal was just to not have a
real job.
A real job.
Yeah, I know.
Truly, the more important moment for me. I'm blessed enough that we got bought out and we got a nice big payout. And people think they think that was the big moment for me. Big moment for me was when I could get $75,000 a year to just do this, and I was all right, now I never have to be a miserable cube monkey again. So that was my main driver, and we're just lucky enough that it was able to grow from there. But I think it's about people who just want to do it, whether it's sports, media, whatever it is. You have to want. You can't do it because someone's telling you to do it. You got to want to do it.
Yeah. Interesting. You gonna go to any games? You gonna check them out? In the
I want to. I got to go to the game. It's at Fordham, right?
Yeah.
So
Fordham.
I went
to Fordham before, or Arthur Avenue after?
I haven't been back to Fordham, so I got to get back.
Fordham on Sunday for the quarterfinals. 4 games. At the second game, we got 2:45.
Yeah. So it goes 1 is Holy Cross, St. Raymond's.
Yep.
2:45 is us and Iona, which would be a great crowd. 4:30 is Christ the King Scanlon.
Yep.
And then Nazareth Hayes at 6:15.
Big
2
game.
high-profile teams. So 4 great games. Before you got in here, we were talking how it's one of the best days of basketball of the year. If you're a basketball junkie or fan of any team, any level, you get to see so many high-level guys. College coaches fill it in, trying to look for some unsigned seniors and look into the junior class. And
if you win, you play Wednesday or Thursday next
week? It goes Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday.
Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday. Okay, so Sunday is the championship. So, all right.
So by next Sunday, we'll know if you're.
Yeah, we'll know if we did it or not.
Yeah, it's I remember the first time I did it, and I was like, I don't know if they're ever gonna do this again. And here we are again. You're on the doorstep of.
I remember back when, back in 2016, 17, tie game, semifinals.
Yeah,
offensive rebound, phantom push off
Oh, he
call,
talks about this all the time.
0.3 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
And 2017,
Yeah.
we lose. He makes Moses Brown.
Yep.
Moses Brown in the NBA.
Yeah.
Makes 1 of 2. We lose. And the worst part was like people were like, you'll never get back. Like it's so hard to get to the semifinals. It's so hard. And now, we'll go to Dave Resnick on the analytics.
He talks more about that loss than any win.
Yeah,
ever.
I could
That's
tell
the
you,
way it goes, man.
That's really. And you're talking. I thought you were talking about walking down the hallway at Fordham and winning that time.
No, you have one of the best pictures that hangs. hangs.
I was walking behind him in the stone. In the Fordham, the stone walls. He's walking down the hallway like alone.
Pregame,
and I was just like, I want to. This is kind of a cool picture.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it.
Yeah,
Those are the ones that motivate you. Though, right?
That was one of the best. But
you
the
can't
losses,
harp on the losses, but the losses are what motivate you and stick out.
Yeah, I could tell you more about that loss and then 19 when we were up by 12 going in the fourth quarter. We went 0 for 17 in the fourth quarter, and we lost. I could tell you,
Musa Cisse,
Ryan Myers.
Yeah, that team was loaded. And what's the other guy? The other guy played in the NBA.
No, that was their team. The NBA was Raleigh Hawkins beforehand.
No. Who's the big man? They had didn't have two.
Kofi Cockburn, but he
Kofi
wasn't on
Cockburn.
that team. He graduated, or he left. He transferred out. He went to
That's
Oak Hill.
what it was.
Went to Oak Hill that year.
Yeah.
But up by 12, they went to a triangle and 2 on RJ and AJ. And you remember the losses more. Look, I'll remember the wins forever.
Yeah.
But
the losses motivate you.
Yeah, the losses are motivational.
Absolutely. So. All right, Kevin Clancy, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
it.
You're awesome, man. A lot of fun. Coach Pat Mass, get back to your real job and get ready for Sunday at Fordham University. I want to thank everyone for watching the Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast. Brought to you by All Pro Cleaning and Restoration, White Plains Hospital. Thanks LMC Media Studios. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, Stepinac coming off a win next week. We'll see you soon. The Inside Stepinac Basketball Podcast is back. And once again, it is brought to you by All Pro Cleaning and Restoration, a Balfour company, commercial, residential property restoration and construction company. Services include fire and water damage restoration, mold remediation, HVAC, duct cleaning, and complete construction services. Been a valued service provider for Westchester County and the Tri-State area for over 35 years and a proud supporter of Stepinac basketball, as is White Plains Hospital, a sponsor of GameDay One, and has been so good to high school athletics, Stepinac basketball, and GameDay One since we started.